We try to say differently able or person with disabilities.
Yeah.
So it won't come with that stigma, you know?
Yeah.
So differently able, because we all have disabilities in some area. Combat veteran for the U.S. Army, having served from 2005 to 2010. After suffering injuries from an explosion in Afghanistan, Chris became a stay-at-home dad and now has 5 children with his wife of 10 years, Lila.
That's Lila.
The call to serve never left Chris. In 2018, he was elected as trustee for the village of Teresa in
North Carolina. There's this guy I used to work for. He told me to worry about the stuff you can control, and all the other things you can't control, forget about it.
Okay.
Did I say that right?
Yeah, you said the stuff that you can't control, to kind of forget about that and just deal with what you can control?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I couldn't control anything over there with my mom, but I could control my next step. So I went to the MEP station, and a funny story is I didn't perform to the standards of this one guy, and he basically kicked me out of the place.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I ignored him and went and kind of ducked into another line and stayed.
Okay.
And that's how I got into the Army. He get away from it. When I got married, I stopped drinking.
Okay.
And I don't go to bars or anything like that, because whenever you go to bars, I always end up getting into something, because I'm telling you, I'm cocky, and
okay, gotcha.
Someone does something, I want to do something back, you know. So I just don't go in those situations. I just stay out of them. You know?
That's that self-awareness coming in. You're like, I know what's going to trigger me, so I'm going to stay away from that. Yeah.
Yeah, I just stay out of it. I mean, recently, I'm 30. How old am I? I'm 35. Just recently, I went to a place with my wife and family, and something happened that night.
Oh.
And I hate going to places like that.
Wow.
So so I got diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder and traumatic brain injury.
Yeah. Okay. I worked with mostly men for about 3.5 years who had traumatic brain injuries as well, helping them with memory loss, a whole lot of different, different things that they had to contend with, even the insecurities. And I even worked with men who came out of rehabilitation. Some of them went in coma for a long time. They came out, but part of my job was to help them integrate back into the community again. So then we have to deal with phobias and, fears and the PTSD symptoms. And then even with family members, not understanding them. And a lot of times I would tell my clients, I said, you know what? I said, sometimes it's us. Sometimes family distance themselves because sometimes we don't know how to deal with you as a, maybe having being differently able, and it's not you, it's that sometimes we don't know how to interact with you anymore. And that's where the education piece come in, where I would, talk with the wife, talk with the mom or dad or whatever, just to get them to kind of understand. But, because there's so many different challenges, so it was always different layers that we had to address.
Yeah, this whole process has been dealing with layer after layer of issues with me.
Right.
It's just been, I'm at a point now where I can see where PTSD is holding me back and keeping me from being the entire person that I can be.
Okay.
That's why I'm on here with you. That's why I've started doing these interviews.
Okay.
Partly to, market my book and our podcast and all. But this stuff I'm talking about this is my passion, because what I'm telling you, I can't tell my parents for some reason. You know what I mean?
Because the emotional attachment, it's always harder to tell family members and even friends because of their relationship. It's always easier to talk to people you don't know.
Yeah, they're going to hear this and they're going to
have their comments. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're going to understand even better.
Yeah.
And hopefully people that knew me before the Army will hear this and understand better about PTSD, because I'll never ever be able to. I'll never even try to tell them. But
you or faith played a part in your role, because if it did, I was going to say those are the type of things we believe to give to God, because it's too much for us. We're human, and if you believe in God, a higher power, whatever, it's like, you know what? because I went through some other traumas in my life, and that's helped me to learn, like, you know what, I'm going to compartmentalize this. I'm giving this to you. I have to wash my hands because I cannot allow it to hold me captive. And because I believe there's an enemy out there, the enemy, my mindset has always been, I'm not going to let him have the last say over my life where I feel defeated all the time. So I had to make a decision that, you know, believing that I'm more than a conqueror. I'm victorious. It's like, you know, speaking over your own life, you know, speaking life into yourself, that you're going to live, you're not going to die, not only physically, but I mean, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So did spirituality play a role? Do you have any belief, a faith system?
Well, I'm from the South, so I grew up in, Baptist churches.
Okay.
But I didn't really pray or anything while I was over there, but I did carry rosary beads with me for some reason. I'm not a Catholic, never have been.
Okay.
But I wore them as kind of a protection,
Gotcha.
And there's this little, like a mini Bible.
Yeah.
That I had on me.
Yeah.
That I think I had from my childhood.
I know those Bibles.
and I carried it. I had a little pocket.
Yes.
On the bottom of my leg, and it fit perfect. And I wore it every day, and I was wearing it when I got hit with the IED. Actually.
Wow. Okay.
But it's not. I didn't pray. I just wore,
Exactly.
So I had to get rid of it.
Okay.
And so now I got a book. Well, I had a book published, but I pulled it off the market because I found a bunch of errors.
Okay.
So I'm fixing those, and I'm going to republish it.
That's good.
And yeah, I'm gonna be a trustee for the foreseeable future as long as I keep getting elected.
Okay.
And get back to me and off that character.
Mm-hmm.
My Bailey passed away, and it wasn't until I was back in Fort Drum up here in New York.
Mm-hmm.
How long ago was it? After a year or two.
Okay, I'm from New York.
I remember walking in, and his stuff that was with him over there in Afghanistan had just gotten back.
Okay.
And so I saw all his stuff with his name on it, and it just reminded me, and I still have that thought, kind of,
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say that's a lot too. Wow. Well, you made it through. I hope you daily do things that help you feel good about, where you come from, what you're doing, and kind of just being present for your family. And you said you're at a better place now, and then you have a new purpose, and you're doing some things, and that's good for your children to see.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of good things that's rubbing off on them, like writing. I write, so they all love to write. I got they want to publish books like me. They want to write. It's really cool how that's working out. And then I started writing poems about how I felt a while back.
I saw that. Okay.
And I'm gonna have a book published. It's on the back burner, but it's gonna be published eventually.
Okay.
And it focuses on PTSD and TBI and my anger and this other side of me.
Yes.
And during that process, I realized something. It's very simple for me. And I don't know how true this is for any other veterans with PTSD, similar to my events that happened to me. But what happened to me, I kind of feel like I got punched in the face. And I never got to hit the guy back. You know what I mean?
Okay, yes. You sound like, you're making me think about somebody. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I had this realization that some guy put this bomb in the ground to kill someone. It ended up being, I was one of the people. So I never got a chance to get this guy back. I always wonder where this guy is. What's his life like? Is he even alive still? I'll never have closure on that. It makes me angry. It makes me angry that he got a shot to kill me, but I never got a shot to kill him. Okay. There's a lot of stuff going on right there. And I finally saw it. I finally recognized it.
Okay.
And I isolated it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to put that idea in my mind, like over here,
Okay, yes.
And
Compartmentalize. Yeah.
separate this stuff from what is happening in front of me right now. You know what I mean?
Right. Yes.
Because before then, before I realized the root, what I call the root of my anger.
Yes.
Because in all honesty, I want to kill the person that put the bomb on the ground.
I understand that feeling. Mm-hmm.
And I'll never have the chance. And
so you have to deal with those emotions. You might have to deal with forgiveness, but we won't go there now, because forgiveness is not about the person, it's about you moving on. And it could be forgiving yourself, feeling like, even if you have to tap into that world of, I didn't get a chance to get the person back, but I got to forgive myself because I felt like I couldn't get the person back, and kind of move on. But that's a process too.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to eventually come just to accept the fact that it is the way it is, and
right,
and just kind of leave it in my past. And I don't know if I'll ever get to that point.
Yeah.
And a part of me doesn't know if I ever really want to get to that point, because I've been living with this,
yeah,
the way I've been for so long. I'm kind of afraid to, get rid of it. Does it make sense? There's this other side of.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, there's this other side of me, and it's sort of the soldier side of me, and it's kind of like, if I say goodbye to, if I come to terms with the fact that I'll never be able to change what I want to change, which is kill the guy to put the bomb on the ground, then I'll be saying goodbye to the soldier in me. You know what I mean?
Right. It's not that you're forgetting and you're diminishing or minimizing that, but learning that you have to go on and live and cope and thrive, and know that your heart was in the right place. You're protected, like you said. That's what you were trained to do. That's what you want to do, and that is good. And at the same time, live and go on and not be held captive or prisoner to those emotions. You know what I'm saying? Because then you want to live life and you want to be free and present with your wife, with your kids, stuff like that. So it's like a decision you have to make in your mind. Like, I'm not going to let this hold me captive. I got to be present. And I was going to ask you before.